Okay, so let's get started. Now, what I recommend is if your animal has any pre-existing conditions, consult your veterinarian to see if he or she is able to make the trip. That would be number one. Number two would be microchip. If for any reason they slipped their collar or you opened the door, they got scared from something and took off and found, they'll know who he belongs to. The second backup to that would be a collar with the phone number you can be reached at, your name, or if they have any pertinent information like, is your dog deaf? Is he a diabetic? Is he on certain medications? That would be important to put on the tag on the collar. Also, a photo of your dog. Now, it's important to take along the record, even take 2 copies of the record of his vaccines. Come campgrounds, actually ask for it. And if anything should happen, you will have to show proof that the vaccinations are completely caught up. Now, the one vaccine that I was surprised when I told my vet we were going camping was your, I don't even know how to say this, leptospirosis. Everybody calls it the lepto or lipo. Basically what it is the dogs, when they're in pet parks or parks where, dogs frequent, campgrounds or certain areas, that they get it from the urine of infected animals. It's just a shot once a year, and it does protect against that. And if when you're traveling, you do happen to stop at all the pet parks, this is a shot that they will definitely need. Okay. Not only when you're packing for yourself, you've got to pack for the dog. Obviously, they're going to be needing plenty of food, plenty of water, leashes, plenty of poopy bags, a first aid kit, again, your vaccination documents, comfy blankets, their favorite toys. You want your pet to be as comfortable as possible in this new environment. Also, if you plan to use a crate while you're traveling, make sure that they're able to sit, stand, lie down, and turn around. Another thing is never leave your pet alone. The reason I say that is if you leave them in a parked car, even with the window slightly cracked, you think everything's okay, but basically those cracked windows do practically nothing to keep the temperature down. I'll give you an example. On an 80-degree day, the temperature rises within 10 minutes up to 104 degrees in your vehicle. I could go through the science for you, but just Google that. In 10 minutes, it goes up to 104 and you can start heat exhaustion. If for some reason you meet somebody in the store or the gas station and start talking, it could be devastating for the dog on heat stroke. Now, humidity also plays an important part when your dog is left alone in a car. There are breeds, like people, when it's a very humid day and it's hot and you're sweating, it's hard to breathe. Well, the same thing for your furry companions. They find it hard to breathe. Also, you have to keep special attention on the ones with the shorter snouts, pugs, bulldogs, Lhasa Apsos, etc. Now, you must remember to be patient because you're going to need to make lots of pit stops. And a little secret, try not to feed your dog while the vehicle is in motion. Cleanup is no fun. Now, when you take your dogs out on their pit stops, be careful on hot days. Now, this year in the United States, we've had plenty of hot days, even photos on YouTube of people frying eggs on the sidewalks. Well, those hot sidewalks are, say, if it's an 86-degree day, those sidewalks can get up to 145 degrees. Now, for their little paws, it can burn them, and those burnt paws can help lead to heat exhaustion onto heat stroke. So a little trick that I've learned is to take your hand and hold it on the concrete for 10 seconds. If you can do that, then you will know whether it's safe or not for your dog. Now, young paws on puppies are more sensitive and will burn faster. So be careful. Asphalt is generally 10 degrees hotter. So if you're walking on blacktop, and what I learned in this research was your fake grass that they're using in a lot of the Western states because of the water issue, that also raises in temperature and could do damage to your poor dogs. Okay, and something I've learned also I think is important, that the damage could be done within 10 seconds. Now, when I was out at the Great Sand Dunes, a lady was walking ahead of me, and of course I had shoes on, and she said, "Hey, the sand is 145 degrees." I was like, "What?" So we literally had to pick up our Old English sheepdogs and Couvars and walk them to the water that was flowing down at the bottom of the sand dunes to protect them from the heat. And we warned a lot of other people who kind of ignored that fact. So be careful when it comes to temperatures and your sidewalks. A word to the wise: if you notice your dog's behavior changing in the heat, he could be heading towards heat stroke. Before he collapses, pick him up, calm him down, lay him down, and get regular tap water. Put regular tap water all over him. Make sure they're in a shade. Fan him. Do not cover him or her with wet cloths. That would actually hold the heat in. You want to cool them off. And they should spring back. If not, there could be some organ damage, and then you're going to need the emergency ward. So keep an eye on those temperatures. Properly restrain your dog in the vehicle. The reason why an 80-pound dog at a sudden stop can injure, well, himself and you. He can fly out the windshield. He can fly out the window. And if the airbag goes off, both of you could get severely injured or death. Now, if your dog is in the passenger seat and that airbag goes off, same thing. That can be injured or death. It's just like a child sitting in the front seat. Don't do it. Another thing is heads inside the window. I know we all see them on TV with the commercial and they're sniffing and everything's fine and dandy. But what happens when they hit some debris? What happens if there's a tree branch? What if something kicks up off the road? What if you hit one of our potholes and the dog flies out? It is much safer to keep your dog inside. And for heaven's sakes, never, never, never put the dog in the back of a pickup truck. That is simply an accident waiting to happen. And leashes. While your dog is in the car, they're in the pet seat or a crate. So take the leads off. If for some reason in the accident they get loose and they still have their leads on, it could get caught around a tree, a rock, some sort of junk left in the woods, and they would not be able to survive until someone could find them or they could find, someone to rescue them. So the leads come off when they're in the vehicle. Oh yeah, water. Seems like a strange subject for pet safety. However, I've learned this one the hard way. 5 o'clock in the morning, diarrhea everywhere. Cleaned it up, 7 o'clock, diarrhea everywhere. What happens is the bacteria at the different campgrounds, the wells, the dams, has all different bacteria. And those bacteria irritate the dog's sensitive stomachs. This leads to the diarrhea. It is recommended that you use bottled water. Or what we just did was buy a filtering system, which wasn't that expensive for our camera, because the same thing can happen to us. Now, this happened actually to me twice and had to call the vet, get the pills, and clean up messes. That's why I recommend plenty of paper towels. Now, if you have to go to the store, go take a shower, you want to take a swim, and there isn't anyone there to kind of watch them while they're in the camper, you put them in the camper, you turn on the air conditioner, and away you go. I would recommend getting a temperature gauge that will alert you on your phone, because this has happened to us in Kansas, where the larger RVs have two air conditioners, and they were turned on, and we were even warned, you know, when it's full, please don't have everything on. You're going to use too many watts and you're going to blow the circuits. Well, guess what? She was right. It blew all the circuits. Thank goodness, you know, we were there, because the temperature inside would raise rapidly without the air conditioner on. By using today's technology, you are alerted on your phone. Now, they're not that inexpensive. Well, they're rather inexpensive, and this is a safety measure. And it could save your dog's life or cat. Now, some little extras, not necessary, but I am considering getting it because I have 3 large dogs, and sometimes they get a little rough with each other. So I am going to get a camera where I can watch what's going on inside. Not only I have the temperature, I'm going to be able to watch them and see what they're up to. Are they bored? Are they chewing the furniture? Are they getting into something that they shouldn't? I mean, that comes along later, but it is something to think about. And I know lately I've been seeing, oh, I had my glasses on, a portable fence. A lot of the campgrounds allow 24 inches or greater, or some of them even have rules for 24 inches, allow the larger fences for the larger dogs. It seems as though they've been catering more so to the small dogs rather than the big furry companions. But we have been able to use ours, and we still have our dogs restrained, but at least they're safer in case other dogs get loose. If there's any skunks around, oh dear. I've been there, done that. You know, any kind, the rabbits or whatever that they might want to chase, they are still, you know, attached, believe it or not, to the picnic table. But it is a little extra security for us, and in case of emergency, it just lifts right out. Again, it's inexpensive. It just lifts right out of the ground, lay it down, in can come the gurney in case of an emergency. Well, basically, to have a safe trip, I know some of this might seem a little overboard, but I've been there and done that. We've got to be prepared for anything. We've got to know the hazards of the areas that we were in. We've got to know the veterinarians that are nearby. Oh, they have saved us. And of course, we must be patient. This is not only all new for us, it is all new for our furry companions that are traveling with us. Now, our furry companions, they just give us so much love and comfort and safety, and it's just life without them is unthinkable. So in order to really have a great trip, it does require safety first.